What? There, okay. There we go. Now I can. There we go. All right, so we got the fleet. Yeah, so this definitely seems like we're gonna be in a more Hispanic Latino kind of culture, whether it's South American or the flea. Not to be confused with the tick. Pedro Martinez. It's not that. It's not the Pedro Martinez. It's a Pedro Martinez.
Folk tales are old, simple, and not too hard to remember.
I don't think I was
Many
expecting
are
that voice
stories
coming
were
out of that
told
body.
Long before the invention of printing. They were passed on by word of mouth. Now, if a story is repeated enough times, and if its meaning is lasting, it may be on its way to becoming a folk tale, even if it's make-believe, like the story you'll hear today. The Flea is a story from Spain.
Okay.
Spain, like other countries in Western Europe, has retained many of its customs and traditions of the past. Spain is famous for its beautiful old castles, which can still be seen on the hillsides and in the older cities. Today, many of the Spanish people live in large cities like Madrid and Barcelona. They live in modern homes and apartments, and life in the city is like
He didn't say it with a
life
lisp. I don't know
anywhere
if he.
else.
I don't think he's from
But the
Spain.
country life has not changed as much. Farmers live in small villages and towns and tend their fields much as they did in the days of long ago. The people still have a king. However, he is more like our president than the king in our story. The Flea
News
is
to
a
me.
tale that shows that people are very much alike all over the world because we like to laugh at ourselves and at others. We cook up explanations for things we don't really understand, and sometimes we just make talk about our everyday lives. Y ahora, escuchemos. Listen to the tale of the Flea.
Okay. I will.
Había una vez un rey en España. There was once a king of Spain who loved riddles. It just delighted him to ask one that no one could answer. So, of course, he spent many hours thinking of new riddles. One day, as the king was being dressed by his servants, a flea jumped from one of the pages onto the king. The king snapped it up in his fingers and called for his chamberlain. "Chamberlain, what is this?" demanded the king. The chamberlain was very embarrassed when he saw what was in the king's hand. "Oh dear, it's a flea," he said in a low voice. "A flea?" said the king. "Does the king of Spain have fleas?"
Apparently.
"Oh, no, your highness. I must be mistaken. That cannot be a flea," begged the chamberlain. "Of course it's a flea," shouted the king. "But because it has landed on me, it is a royal flea. Now, I wonder what I should do with it." The poor chamberlain shrugged his shoulders as the king pondered over the flea. At last the king said, I know. We shall put this flea in a cage worthy of a royal flea, and we shall feed it royal food. I want this flea to grow as big as a cat. No, bigger than that, as big as a goat. No, even bigger than that. I want this flea to be as
Hey
big
King,
as
I
an
don't think
elephant.
you understand biology.
Then I shall have the flea skinned to make a tambourine for my daughter, Belita. The king was so excited, he shook with laughter. Don't
wants it
you
to be
see,
giant so he can
Chamberlain,
skin
said
it?
the king. This is truly a riddle
Okay,
worthy of
this
a king.
disc isn't off to a good start.
Every suitor that comes to ask for my daughter's hand in marriage shall be asked the riddle. The one who answers it correctly shall marry my daughter. And I think I shall name this flea Felipa. The chamberlain looked at the little flea and wondered to himself if the king had gone mad.
Seems like it.
Every day for the next 6 months, the king visited Felipa to check on her progress. Well, at the end of the first month, the flea was as big as a mouse, and the following month, as big as a cat. By the 6th month, she was as big as a goat, and the king could wait no longer. He ordered that the flea's skin be made into a tambourine. Then he had the royal dance instructor teach Belita to dance with her tambourine, and the king composed a riddle. It went like this. Belita, Felipa, they look so well together. Belita, Felipa, if you can only answer whether. What animal is Felipa? What animal is Felipa? If you can tell about Felipa, you then can marry Belita. Well, soon the king grew tired of this business.
That's not really a
since
riddle.
No one could answer the riddle. Every day more young men arrived to waste his time.
That's really
So
just
the
like,
king commanded that any suitor who could not
You
guess the
did
riddle
really-
would have his head cut off. Of course, all of the suitors disappeared. Belita, it seemed, was destined to live the rest of her days as an old maid.
yeah,
At this time,
Sure seems it.
far away in the Castilian hills, there lived a shepherd. He was young and handsome, but he was poor as the poorest beggar in all of Spain. One day, the shepherd thought to himself, I have nothing to lose. Perhaps I should try to answer the riddle. So he said goodbye to his mother and his brother. His mother gave him
Yeah.
a small pouch filled with cheese, and his brother gave him a walking staff.
if he's wrong,
then
then
they sent him on
that
his
should
way.
be quick at least.
Well, the shepherd had not gone far when he heard a tiny voice shout, Stop, stop! The shepherd stopped and looked around, and there on the ground was a small black ant. Thank you for not stepping on me, said the ant. I am very grateful. The shepherd told the ant he was on his way to the king's palace, and the ant immediately said, Please take me with you. I have always wanted to see the king's palace. But I can't carry you, said the shepherd. How about your pouch? Said the ant.
It's an ant.
I have cheese in my pouch, answered the shepherd, and you would get it all dirty. Oh, but I'll wipe my feet, said the ant, and I promise not to step on your cheese. So the shepherd put the ant in his pouch and walked on. He walked all day,
I hope the-
and in
I
the
hope the
evening
ant
he
eats the
slept by a
cheese.
small stream. In the morning, when he awoke, he heard a small voice calling, Help! Help! The shepherd looked around, and in the stream in front of him, he saw a mouse thrashing about in the water. He reached into the water with his staff and saved the mouse. Thank you for saving my life, said the mouse. How can I repay you? There's no need for that, said the shepherd.
You're good.
I'm on my way to the king's palace to try and answer the riddle. If I can't answer it, I shall have my head cut off. And if I do answer it, I shall be rich. Well then, said the mouse, can you take me with you to the palace? But I have no place to hide you, replied the shepherd. You have a pouch, said the mouse. But I have my breakfast inside the pouch. There is not enough room for you too. If you ate your breakfast now, there would be plenty of room, begged the mouse. It was
Makes a
true, and
good
the
point.
shepherd was hungry. So he took out the cheese and gave a small piece to the mouse and a smaller piece to the ant. And after they ate, they continued on their way. When the shepherd arrived at the palace, he became frightened, So he sat under a tree to try to regain his courage. "What's wrong?" asked the mouse. "The thought of losing my head is not very pleasant," said the shepherd.
I bet not.
"Come on, we will help you," said the mouse. So the shepherd went up the palace stairs and said he had come to answer the riddle. When he saw the shepherd, the chamberlain gasped. "It's not too late to turn back," he said. But the shepherd was determined and was finally presented to the king. The king took in the sad sight of the poor shepherd and said, "A shepherd's life is better than no life at all." But the shepherd insisted on answering the riddle. So Belita danced, and the king repeated his riddle. "What animal is Felipa? What animal is Felipa? If you can tell about Felipa, you then may marry Belita." When the dance was over, the shepherd studied the tambourine carefully and knew right away it was not the skin of a sheep. "Can you guess what it is?" said the ant. "No, I can't," replied the shepherd sadly. "Quickly, let me out of the pouch. Maybe I can help," said the ant. The shepherd took the ant out of his pouch, and the ant crawled all over the tambourine. "There is no mistaking it," said the ant softly. "It is a flea." "Are you sure?" said the shepherd. "Absolutely," replied the ant. "Oh, stop muttering
How
to
would
yourself,"
he know
said
that?
the king. "Quickly, answer the question." "Felipa is a flea," said the shepherd. Oh, the court was all in a flutter. "I can't marry a poor shepherd," cried Belita. "And you certainly shall not," said the king. "But you gave your word," said the shepherd. "It's just that you are so poor," said the king. "How could you possibly care for my daughter? Instead, I will grant anything you wish. Just name it, and it's yours." "Ask him to fill your pouch with gold," whispered the mouse. "Well, then, I would like to have my pouch filled with gold," said the shepherd. "That's easy enough," said the king. "Quickly, bring some gold," he commanded. The chamberlain arrived with the gold, but the mouse had gnawed a hole in the bottom of the pouch, and the gold poured right through. The chamberlain went to get more gold, and then more and more, because the pouch was never full. Finally, the shepherd said, "Enough. Now I am a rich man. I can support your daughter in any manner she wishes." And so it was the shepherd married a princess and lived a long, comfortable life. The mouse and the ant lived happily too, for the shepherd never forgot how they had helped him.
Like, if I was the king, I'd be like, yeah, your pouch isn't getting full. Like, you don't get the money that falls onto the floor.
The Spanish people have a special love for friendly animals. Among their favorites are two who appeared in this story: La hormiguita, the little ant, and El ratón, the mouse. Now, a make-believe story like The Flea is a fairy tale. But other animal stories which teach people how to live are called fables. Read and enjoy folk tales from Spain and from all over the world. You can find them in your school or public libraries. Or make up a story of your own.
Or check the internet. Probably plenty of fables on the internet.
Share a story with a friend, so our tales will never end.
Oh, I can only hope that this ends at some point. I'm sticking with my plans even if Pandemonium took way longer than I thought. Screw that game.
The preceding program was funded in part by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
All right. The Lazy Fox, and then we'll also see Senor Coyote and Senor Fox. Oh, that lazy fox. We're gonna have the same narrator. Yep, Pedro Martinez. He seems like an affable guy. Don't like that shit.
Today you will hear two stories. First, The Lazy Fox. And then, the story
2,
of
4,
Senor
1.
Coyote and Senor Fox. Our first story, The Lazy Fox, is from Argentina.
Okay,
Argentina.
so like I said, it's South
Argentina
America.
is the second largest country in South America. The character of the fox was brought to South America in stories carried by the Spanish explorers of long ago. You see, the fox is a character often found in the folk tales of Spain. The lazy fox tries to outwit the hard-working armadillo. The armadillo is an animal found only in the American continents. So, in this
armadillo?
story from Argentina, we'll see a blending of European and South American cultures. Senor Coyote and Senor Fox is a story from northern Mexico. In Mexico, there are many stories about Coyote, a
That's
character
true.
borrowed from Indian folklore. Coyote
That's-
is
that was
very
why I
clever
said it's true, 'cause
and
I know
can
a lot of-
usually get the best of anyone. Y ahora
This area
escuchemos.
that I
Listen
am
now to
currently
the
in.
tales of the lazy fox and Senor Coyote and Senor Fox.
A lot of coyotes. I mean, that's why Phoenix's hockey team is named that.
Once there was a fox who was very well known for the tricks he played on everyone. This fox owned a farm.
I like the
but
fox
he never
right
did
now.
any work on
He
it.
seems okay.
He would lie around all day long in the coolest shade. One day, he looked out at his field and wondered how he could get someone to plant and harvest it for him. All day long, that armadillo works in the hot sun on that rock patch he calls a farm. Why, it should be easy to talk someone so stupid into doing all my work for me. At the end of the harvest, I'll even give him a share, but just a small one.
So this is just Huckleberry
Fox
Finn.
hurried over to the armadillo's farm and found him working in the field. Ah, good morning, Armadillo. How is it going? Called the fox. The armadillo looked up and said, Not very well. You know, this land is so rocky, I have to be very careful or I'll break my plow.
Oh, that's not good.
Said the fox. I think I can help you. Me? Said the armadillo. How can you help me? You know, I have a very nice piece of land. If you would only plant it for me, I would ask for only a small share in payment. Why are you so generous? Asked the armadillo. Oh, this has been a very good year for me, said the fox. And I've decided to let others share in my good fortune.
Well, ain't that nice of
That's
him?
very kind of you, said the armadillo as he leaned back on his hoe. What kind of crop do you want to plant? Anything you want to plant, said the fox. And I'll let you have half of the crop. Half? Said the armadillo. Better yet, I'll let you have anything that grows above the ground, and I'll keep what grows below the ground. Now, the fox knew the armadillo loved potatoes, so he just assumed that would be the armadillo's choice. That sounds fair to me,
That's
said the armadillo.
a
And
bad
they
assumption.
shook hands on their agreement.
You should
The
find out
next
what he's
day,
planting
the
first
armadillo
before
and his
making that
family got
agreement.
up early and went to work on the fox's field. When the fox finally got around to checking on their work, it was nearly sunset. "How is it going?" shouted the fox. "We're almost through planting," answered the armadillo. "But it looks like rain, so we'd better hurry and finish up today." The fox looked up and saw the clouds gathering, so he hurried away without asking what it was they were planting. Well, the crop grew and grew, and at last it was time to harvest the crop. The armadillo family arrived early in the morning, and by noon they had harvested a fine crop of wheat. Well, the fox didn't get up until midday, so when he went out to the field to collect his share, all that remained was the shriveled, tasteless roots. Oh, the fox was furious. He raced right over to the armadillo's house.
Well,
And
I
when he
mean,
got there, he found the family eating bread. "There's been a terrible mistake," said the fox. "What's the problem?" said the armadillo. "Didn't we keep our part of the agreement?" "Yes, of course you did, but I thought..." The fox was going to say he thought they were going to plant potatoes, but he didn't. Instead, he said shrewdly, "I thought you liked roots." "I do," said the armadillo. "Well, next season I want everything that grows above the ground," said the fox. "That sounds fair to me," answered the armadillo. The fox went away with his stomach grumbling. He had planned to trick the armadillo out of the entire harvest, and now he had nothing to eat. Again,
why does he think he's smarter than the armadillo?
diligently worked the field. The fox didn't bother to show up until the day of the harvest, and on that day, he didn't arrive until noon. By then, the armadillos were on their way home, and all that was left were the tops of the potato plants the armadillo had planted. "Come back," hollered the fox. "I think you're trying to trick me." "But that's what we agreed, isn't it?" replied the armadillo. "You never think of me when you plant," said the fox. "Next season, I want the tops as well as what grows under the soil. You can have all that grows in the middle." "Well, I don't know," said the armadillo. "I think it's only fair.
What constitutes
I
the
didn't
middle?
get any of the first two crops," demanded the fox. The armadillo was silent for a moment and then said, "All right, I think it's fair too." And the fox went away with his stomach grumbling again. He looked at his
What, is he
shadow
gonna
and
plant
thought,
trees?
"Oh, how thin I'm getting." But this time he felt certain there was no way the armadillo could get
I mean, the
any of
fox
crop.
deserves it because
And
he's
at
like
least
trying to get out of
that
doing
made
any
him feel a
work,
little
but
better.
he's an idiot.
The next harvest, the fox arrived early in the morning to find the armadillo had planted corn. The crop was large, and the ears were especially succulent. But they grew right in the middle of the plant. "You have tricked me again," said the fox. "How could that be?" said the armadillo. "We gave you just what you asked for." The hungry fox watched the armadillo all the way.
Hey, Mikey! Thank you for the
"That's
raid.
the
Welcome
last
in.
time I'm going to let you use
How was
my
your stream?
heels,"
What were
he
you up
shouted.
to?
The armadillo didn't say anything. He just walked
You
away
know it.
slowly, because not only was the crop heavy, but he had put on a lot of weight over the last 3 seasons.
Ah, some Forza, nice. How you enjoying that
Another
one?
day, in a desert not too far away, the coyote was looking for something to eat. He saw
Welcome,
a large
everyone.
mesa in the distance, and he thought he might find a small animal.
We're going
sleeping
through
in
all
the
the
shade of
PS1
cliff.
games. This is a light
When
span
he
game
arrived by
that
the
was
edge of
4
this great
games.
cliff,
We're on
he
3rd
began
disc.
looking around. But instead of a tasty little animal, he found his old enemy.
I
the
like
fox,
Forza,
sleeping
the
as
second one
usual.
especially.
Aha! Here's my chance to get that fox, thought the
But if you're not a racing dude,
The fox,
then
however, never
it's not,
sleeps
you
like
know,
other
it's not going to
animals.
be a
He
good
sleeps
game.
with one eye open. So when he saw his enemy, the coyote, sneaking up on him, the fox
So,
jumped to his
Lightspan
feet
is an
and began
educational
pushing hard against the
program
rock
that they
cliff.
like put out like 100 some odd games,
Help
so
me!
they're all
He shouted at the coyote.
educational based.
Please
There's
help
like
me, or this
4 or
cliff
5
will
series that
over
are
us
just
and kill us
videos,
both.
and this is one of them.
The coyote was a bit confused. He
The
looked at
first
fox,
disc was like
straining
horrifying.
and
It was a
pushing
bunch of
against the
Native
rock
American
cliff,
tales, but
like
all
his
of
life
them had
depended
no
on it.
morals, no
See
no
for yourself,
lesson. They were
said the
just
fox.
terrible,
The cliff is
terrible
falling.
things.
The coyote looked up to the
second
top
disc
of the
was
cliff,
Asian
and
culture.
Sure enough,
Much
it looked
better.
as if it were going to fall over on him. He jumped to the cliff wall next to
This
the
seems
fox
like it's going to
and
be
began
Latino
pushing
and
with all his
Hispanic
might.
culture, so far so good.
That certainly was close, said the fox. I'd certainly be dead if you hadn't come along. The coyote looked up again and saw that it was still falling, so he pushed very hard, so hard that he was kicking up ground with his feet. We're doomed, said the fox sadly. We will probably die here together. No, we won't, said the coyote. Help will come soon enough. No, we are the only ones here, and no one ever comes this way. The coyote looked up only to scare himself again and pushed even harder against the cliff. I've got an idea, perked up the fox. There may be a way out of this.
So they're just stuck?
What's that? Grunted the coyote. I'll go get help, and you
I
stay
wouldn't say you
here
missed
and
out
hold
unless
up
you
this
were
cliff,
looking
said
for
the fox.
like something to
Why
speak to
don't
your
you hold up
therapist
the cliff,
about.
and I'll go for help, asked the coyote. Well, you are more than twice as strong as I am and can surely hold it up by yourself. I'll be back in just a few
I know
minutes.
I've got plenty of material
All
for
right,
my next
replied the
session.
coyote. But hurry! Push harder, harder, called the fox as he ran away. The coyote pushed and pushed. His arms
It's not
and
bad.
legs hurt so badly he thought they would break.
I put the
minute
block
he
here
became
because I figured any platformer I was going to play was probably going to piss me off, and
So hard he began to dig
even with
a hole in the
Pandemonium
ground
being
with his
pretty
feet.
good for most of the way
Day
through,
passed, the sun
definitely
set,
pissed me off.
Night came. Oh, it was cold and dark. The coyote shivered and called out for the fox, but the fox didn't come. When the sun finally rose, he was so
Also,
tired
if
he
you
was
guys want to
quivering.
redeem your viewer
I can't last
choice
much longer,
picks,
he gasped. Tears were rolling
keep
down
in
his
mind
face.
the
This is the end, he
upcoming genres,
I might as well try to
because
make
that
a run
list
for
will
it,
influence me.
because if I stay, I will die anyway. He gave one last shove, and with all the strength he had left, he ran away from the cliff. When he looked back, he saw the mesa still standing. He blinked. He rubbed his eyes. It wasn't going to fall. Not now, not in 100 years. He had been tricked. The fox was nowhere to be found. He was napping in some dark, cool place far away.
Well, you know what? In the first story, the fox got his, so I feel like he can get one over on the second story.
Colorín colorado, este cuento se ha acabado. These are just 2 stories which have been translated from Spanish. There are hundreds of others. You can find stories from Mexico and Argentina and from all over the world in your school or public
Argentina,
library.
Messi, woo!
Read and enjoy the folktales of the world. Y colorín colorado, este cuento se ha acabado.
Messi
Share a
would be
story
a
with a friend,
fox.
so our tales will never end.
He did. He got screwed by the armadillo. He kept making deals. He was just a dumbass, though. Like, the deals he kept making, I could have, like, told him at the time he was gonna get screwed. So it's like, dude, this is on you. Like, agree on the crop before you agree on what part you're getting. Like, that's just... that's just obvious. Apparently not. I keep looking at my session timer and I'm like, man, we've been live for a while, forgetting that we were live for about 2 hours before I had to bring it down.
The preceding
For
program
this
was
password.
funded in part by a grant from the Corporation for
God.
Public Broadcasting.
Why am I still doing this to myself? Because it's Tepotsan, the magic boy from the mountains. Oh, is that the next one? Oh, god damn it, Gal. Are you still around? I swear to God, if someone gets their head bitten off, everyone who just came in is like, what are you talking about? It's been a long night.
Today's story, the tale of the magic boat
No, it's just been long.
was told by the Indians.
I mean, there was 2 hours of it that sucked because Pandemonium decided that it wanted me to hate it,
there are
but...
two huge mountain ranges, the Sierra Madre Occidental and the Sierra Madre Oriental. It was here that the Azteca, the Mixteca, the Tolteca, and
Okay,
other
we're getting an
Indians
Aztec
built
story.
their
That was...
magnificent
I
cities,
predicted
all
that.
of stone. Now, since the mountains surrounding the city were
Alright,
always
so
covered by clouds,
if we're going off my
people
predictions,
believed that the
Disc 4 will be
mountaintops
African
must be the home
stories.
of the gods. Stories of the gods and their magic are told in Mexico even today, in the modern cities as well as in the smaller villages. Y ahora escuchemos. Listen now to the tale of Tepoztlán.
Tepoztlán. I was close with what I said. That was almost the same pronunciation.
Long time ago, before anyone who is alive today can remember, there lived a little boy named Tepoztlán. He lived with an old fisherman and his wife in a house by the river.
But not his parents?
Thought the old fisherman and his wife were his real parents. But his real father was a god. A god who lived in a giant volcano high above the clouds. In those days, the gods had their jobs to do. They controlled the winds.
You know,
made the
not like
rain fall at
today
the
when
right
they're
time
lazy
so that the crops would grow.
bums.
The gods discovered many things which they taught to the people. But one of the gods got tired of living in the volcano and decided it would be nice to have a wife and child. So,
Dude's a god.
he came
Yeah,
down
you
from the
know,
fiery
living in a volcano is
to
not my
be with
thing.
people. While stopping by a stream, he saw a beautiful girl picking flowers. And right away, they fell in love.
I'm gonna, I gotta be the one to
So he
say it.
gave
Like,
her a
what's the
green
age gap on
stone.
this?
And with that,
Seems
they
a
were
little,
married.
little messed up.
After a while, she gave birth to a son. Now one day, the god decided he had to return to his mountain to make the rain
Because
fall
he's a
and control
deadbeat
the
dad.
winds. This made his wife very sad, because the laws of her people would not allow a mother to keep a fatherless child. Well, before anyone could take away her child, she put him into a box, and around Tepoztlán's neck, she tied the smooth green stone given to her by the god, and she let him float down the river.
I mean,
And
back
that is
then,
how the
people
fisherman
were,
and his
like,
wife
not as
came
cool
to find
about,
the
like,
little
just
baby boy. The box
banging.
floated down the river
So, like,
and
I
stopped in the
I
shallow water in front
understand
of
from a
their house.
historical
Well,
standpoint.
the fisherman and his wife were very happy.
Like, it's not
They had
cool,
wanted
but
children for a long time and couldn't have any. What shall we call him? Said the fisherman.
I'm sure a
wife
lot of
said,
women probably tried that.
Well,
Like,
he
no,
has a
no,
green
he
stone
told
around
me
his
he
neck.
was
You know, it reminds
he told
me of
me
the
he
green
was
stones
from
brought down
from the
mountain.
heavens.
Then we shall call him Tepoztlán, the boy from the mountains. So that's how he got his name. Tepoztlán grew up strong and happy with his new parents. They loved him very much, and they took very good care of him.
They seem very nice. Luke Skywalker
When
wasn't
Tepoztlán
raised by
was
his
7 years
parents either.
old, the fisherman made him a bow with little arrows to go with it. Now I will bring home all the food, and you can stay home and rest, said Tepoztlán. The old fisherman laughed.
I mean, I
You
don't
were
think
just a little
Tepestone
boy,
is
he
becoming a
said.
moisture farmer,
But I can
but
shoot anything I want, answered Tepestone. All right, said the fisherman. Shoot that quail over there. Well, Tepestone picked up his bow and placed an arrow to the string. He let the arrow fly in the wrong direction.
yeah, he's,
But the arrow turned around in flight and killed the quail. There must be a wind, said the old man.
that's a hell of a
That
wind.
could never happen twice. See that wild turkey on that tree? Let's
Stop
see if you
making
can
him
hit
kill
him.
things, bro.
The old man knew it was impossible to shoot the turkey.
Tepostone's
at such a
clearly
long
not trying to
distance.
kill things, and yet
But
his
Tepestone
his
fitted an
magic
arrow to
rock.
the bow and again shot it in the wrong direction. Again, the arrow turned and the turkey fell dead.
See, like that would be a good use
Well,
of the
from
power.
that day on, Tepestone did all the hunting, and the old fisherman and his wife stayed at home. He left before sunrise each day and returned just after sunset. And when the
How
fisherman's
many hours is
wife
that?
asked
Because
him,
like, was it like daylight
Tepestone,
savings or wasn't?
"What do you do all day?"
Getting back to
Tepestone
our
would
original
reply,
discussion.
"I have many things to do."
You in Arizona?
Well, one day, Tepestone was walking along a trail when he heard some men talking about an evil giant that lived in the woods. The giant had to be fed a human being every spring.
What
Each
is he,
year,
King Kong?
He went to a new village and demanded that someone be handed over to him, or he would kill everyone in the entire village. Well, the people were very scared.
He does
of the
kind of look
giant,
like King Kong.
so they always
If you
obeyed
shaved
him and
him.
selected someone to be eaten. Tepestone also learned that this year it was the old fisherman's village's turn to supply a human being for the giant. When he arrived home, the old fisherman was very sad. There were only 3 people he could send: himself, his wife, or Tepestone. Well, so of course he decided to go himself.
No one. There's
The
no
old
one else in the
fisherman did
village.
not tell Tepestone about his decision. But when the people arrived to take him away, Tepestone knew what they were there for. "I won't let you take him away," said Tepestone to the people. "He's very old, and he won't make a good meal. I'm young and tender, and will be much more satisfying to a hungry giant."
I mean,
The old
I guess he
fisherman
is
would not
like the
hear
equivalent
it.
of veal for
"You
sacrifices,
are young
right?
and have your life before you. I'm old. I will die happy knowing you are well." "But nothing will happen to me if I go," said Tepestone.
See, like even
He
this
begged
story
and
is
begged
like
the old
messed
man
up,
to
right?
believe
A
him.
giant's trying to eat somebody.
Finally,
There's
the
still like
fisherman
some
agreed and told him
positivity
he
to be
could go.
had here. The first disc had
Well,
none of that
Tepestone
shit.
immediately began to
The
build a
first
fire
disc
by
was
the
just
river.
like evil and
"Watch this
horrific
fire," he told the
stories of
fisherman.
like
"As
suffering,
long as you see white smoke,
and then like
you
one
will
about a
know I am
coyote
all
doing
right.
something okay.
But if the smoke turns gray, it will mean I am in danger. And if
Oh,
it
the other
turns
story that
black,
wasn't terrible was
it will
the
mean I
one
am
where
dead.
the white crow was
He
hoarding the
assured the old
buffalo
man and his
from
wife
all the
that
other
he
Native
would
Americans so that they
and
couldn't
he went
eat.
off with the people.
That was the
Now, on
that
the
was
way
the
to the
second
giant,
least depressing story from the
Tepestone
first
stopped
disc.
and picked up shiny black stones, the kind used to make arrowheads and knives. His pockets were filled with them by the time they reached the giant's castle. "What is this?" said the giant. "How am I to feed on such a tiny morsel?" Oh, the giant was huge. He was taller than 10 men standing on top of each other.
Like if you guys want like just
"You
some
bring me another," roared the giant.
like it shouldn't be as
"I am
horrifying as it
little,
is. I
but
think I may have just
taste
been like
very
hearing
good,"
too
said
much
Tepestone.
into it.
"Why don't you try
I would
me
have said
and
reading
see?"
and too much into it, but
So
I'm
the
clearly
people
not
brought in a
reading.
large pot of boiling water, and Tepestone very willingly hopped in. The people then put the lid on the pot and went away. The
Tepestone
giant went to
soup.
sleep as his meal cooked. A little later, the giant woke up and said, "Oh, I'm hungry. The boy is small. He must be cooked by now." But instead of a tasty little boy, there was a giant black leopard in the pot. The giant quickly put the lid back on the pot and went back to sleep. When he woke up later, he was hungrier than before. But this time, the giant very carefully lifted the lid. Well, inside the pot, there was a huge snake. The snake hissed at the giant. So the giant put the lid back on the pot and went back to sleep.
I mean,
The next time the giant woke up,
I
he
might
was
inspect
so
the pot a
hungry,
little
he
closer
would
than
eat
just to put the
anything.
lid back
He
on,
didn't
because
care
like,
what it was.
shouldn't these things
He
still
went
be
over
getting
to
cooked?
the pot, took off the lid, and there was the little boy smiling at the giant. Well, this made the giant really angry. So he picked up the pot and swallowed all of its contents in one gulp. At that very moment, the smoke from the fisherman's fire turned from white to gray. Oh, the old woman cried, and the old fisherman moaned. He's only a little boy. I shouldn't have let him go. Oh, but Devilstone was all right. You see, the giant had swallowed him whole.
So the
and
fire
he
was
sitting
confused?
in the giant's stomach. Devilstone reached into his pocket and took out the stones he had collected along the way. He took 2 of them and hit them together so hard they broke in half. The edge of each one of the stones was as sharp as a razor. Devilstone began to cut himself out of the giant's stomach. He cut and cut and cut. Oh, the giant groaned. I think I have heartburn. Devilstone kept on cutting and cutting. Well, by now, the hole was so large he could see daylight. Finally, he cut right through to the outside. Devilstone hopped out of the giant, and all the people standing around cheered. At that moment, the smoke at the fisherman's fire, it turned from gray to white.
Because it had been fooled.
Devilstone then moved into the giant's palace and was soon crowned king. After a while,
So you just like
he
killed
learned
the
about
dude
his
and like
real father, the
squat
god,
in his
and
house?
so he went to live with him. Some say that he has returned and lives with the people, except no one knows who he is because he looks just like an ordinary person.
Ah, yes. Hiding in plain sight.
Y colorín colorado, este cuento se ha acabado. This story of Devilstone is just one of the many tales about the magic boy of the mountains. You can find others in your school or public library. Stories like how Devilstone hung the bells and the magic grocery store. Read and enjoy other stories from Mexico and all over the world. Y colorín colorado,
Okay,
este
now
cuento
I'm
se
kind of
ha
interested about the
acabado.
magic grocery store.
Share a story
You can't
with a
leave me
friend,
hanging on the magic
so our
grocery
tales
store,
will
man.
never end.
Like, shit, I'm gonna have to look that up after I'm done with this. Like, god damn it. Like, I need to know at least the Crib Notes version of that. Like, what's magical about it? Like I said, it's been a long night. It could go many different ways. Like, we go in Gremlins. Aren't Amazon grocery stores just Whole Foods? So this is just a bunch of LA public access pressed to a disc and to show school children. Oh, they...
The preceding program was funded in part by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Is KLCS even still a station? Now that I'm thinking about it, like, I can't remember if that... Okay, well, Gao, if you're here and this tiger bites the head off of the rabbit, I'm coming for you. You know why. Hopefully that's not the story. Hopefully this story ends with them like having a picnic. Oh, do you know the story of the flea? King grows a giant flea, makes a tambourine out of its skin, wagers his daughter on a riddle about the tambourine. Super poor dude answers the riddle and then tricks the king into giving him all the money so that he can rightfully take care of the daughter. It's a weird story. It's a weird story.
Our story today, The Tiger
Is that
and
the
the
same
Rabbit,
girl from last
comes
time?
from Puerto Rico, an island in the Caribbean Sea. Puerto Rico is
I didn't
a
see the
Spanish
name the first
which
time.
means rich port. Puerto Rico is a territory of the United
Means
States
rich
of
port.
America, and its people are United States citizens, but they have their own government. Now, the first people to live here were the Indians, called Arawaks. Later, Spaniards and Africans
I
settled
know it
on
was the
island.
90s, but
So
like,
today, Puerto Rico reflects the contributions of all three
weren't
cultures.
Indians.
The Spanish heritage of Puerto Rico is seen in the language and customs of its people. Spanish is the main language, although many Puerto Ricans also speak English. The Tiger and the Rabbit is an animal story.
Well,
And people
I mean, they're
everywhere love
US
stories about
citizens, so-
animals. Stories from Spain
Right?
tell about small
Yeah, Puerto
animals
Rico
that
is the
defeat
US
mighty ones.
territory.
And a little animal may be a mouse or an ant. But in Central America, it's
Costa
often a
Rica
rabbit.
is the country.
You see, the character of the rabbit was brought
mean,
to
I guess
Puerto
Puerto
Rico in
Rico
the
is also a
African
country,
tales
but-
of long ago.
You know.
Y ahora, escuchemos. Listen now to the tale of the tiger and the rabbit.
Okay, I can get down with some of this music. The music in this collection is fine.
Hace mucho tiempo.
It helps set the
Long,
tone.
long ago, all the animals were friends and lived at peace with one another. That is, except for the tiger. The tiger liked to eat small animals,
Oh,
and his favorite meal was the rabbit. The rabbit, for this reason, became very clever and quick-witted. In fact, the rabbit thought the tiger was a stupid, clumsy fool. Even
That's kinda
so,
rude.
he always tried to stay out of the tiger's way. One
Stupid,
day,
clumsy
the
fool.
rabbit
That's
was playing his
rude.
guitar under the shade of a tree. Along came the tiger and creeped up on the rabbit. Well, before the rabbit could get away, the tiger jumped and grabbed him. "Aha! Now I've caught you," said the tiger.
Right? Like, that's kind
The
of...
little rabbit pretended not to be scared and answered calmly,
He better
"Ah,
hope that the
well,
tiger never finds
Tiger,
out.
you've come along at the right time. I was just sitting here playing my guitar and thinking about the best way to die. And if you knew what was going to happen, you would not care to live either." "What's going to happen?" asked the tiger. "Oh, hurry, eat me and be done with it," said the rabbit. "You will
Why?
need all the strength you can
Why
get."
can't we just get
"But what's
normal
going to happen?"
stories?
demanded the tiger.
Why are
"You
all of
mean you
these
haven't
so
heard?"
fucked?
said the rabbit. "There's a hurricane coming, and it's worse than any we've ever had. They say that all the animals will be washed away." "Oh, that's terrible," cried the tiger. "What am I going to do?" "For you, there's hope," said the rabbit. "You can tie yourself to a good, strong tree. But for me, it's hopeless.
What's the best
Tie
I
myself
died
to a tree."
by watching
the tiger.
16 Tales.
"Sure, this one will do. It's withstood several hurricanes and will certainly stand another."
Fuck.
"Oh, thank you. Thank you for helping me," said the tiger. "I don't want
I
to be
did
washed
not.
away."
I did
So
not
the
think
rabbit
that
tied the
emotional
tiger to the
damage
tree.
was going to
Then
be
he
on
climbed
the
up the
menu
tree to keep
tonight.
his eye on the tiger. Just
Pandemonium
then, a
really
small
set
herd
it
of
in
goats
motion,
came
but
walking down the
Jesus.
road.
God
When
damn
they first saw the
Christ.
tiger, they were frightened. But then they noticed the tiger was tied to the tree, and they laughed and laughed. "You
wouldn't be laughing if you knew what was going to happen, said the tiger. Oh, really?
The tiger's dumb, but come on.
What's going to happen?
Just
asked the goats. A hurricane is coming, and
the
it's
way
going
the
to
rabbit
wash
got
all
him
of us
into the
away.
position.
A hurricane, said the goats. We haven't heard of a hurricane. The goats talked among themselves and finally said to the tiger, we have come from the mountains and across the hills, and no one has mentioned such news. There's no hurricane coming. The tiger knew at once he had been tricked, and the sight of the fat little goats made him even more angry because he was hungry. Well then,
They
why
helped
don't you
him
untie me?
figure out what was
said the
going. Why
tiger.
did they have to call him
But
fat?
the goats just
You know what?
laughed
Fuck
and
the
ran
tiger.
away. Well,
This
what
tiger
could be
deserves to be
funnier than
tied
a
up.
tiger tied to a tree? Oh, the tiger struggled and
Just
struggled,
calling them goats
but
fat
he only
for no
got more
reason.
and more tangled. In a while, a monkey came by and saw the tiger tangled up in the rope. He called all his friends to come and see. What are you looking at? Said the angry tiger. You look very funny, said the monkey. Why are you all tangled up in that rope? I've been trapped by a very evil creature. Let me go.
A very
and I'll
evil
tell
creature.
who
You were
it
trying to
was, so
eat
he
him.
won't catch you. Oh, no.
Can we go
If I
back
let
to the
you go,
whole
you will eat us
reason
up,
why
said the monkey.
the rabbit had to trick
I've
you to
never
begin
eaten
with?
a monkey, lied the tiger. I promise I won't eat you.
I feel like
Oh,
half
the
these
monkeys
stories just
believed
omit
him
that
and
part.
began to
Like
chew on the ropes.
someone starts
As
some
soon
shit.
as the tiger's
Fast
paw was
forward
free,
to the
he
end of the
grabbed the
shit,
monkey.
and no one
He was
acknowledges
about
that
to
the
eat
shit
him
got started.
when the rabbit called from above. That's not the way to eat a monkey? What do you mean? Said the tiger. The way to eat a monkey is to throw him in the air and catch him in your mouth, said the rabbit. Oh, anybody can do that, said the tiger as he threw the monkey in the air. Well, the monkey grabbed onto a branch, while the rabbit took his guitar and dropped it into the tiger's mouth. The poor tiger ran off into the forest.
He's not a poor
coughing and
tiger, dude.
choking. Oh, the tiger was furious that he had been tricked again.
Is he
swore
choking on
he
it?
would
Like,
eat the rabbit if it was the last thing
I feel like
he
this
did.
illustration needs work.
Well, then one day, he saw the rabbit carrying some cheese near a river. This is my chance. Now I'm going to eat
Where
you,
does a rabbit
he
get
said.
cheese?
Yes, said the rabbit.
There's been no
But first,
establishment of people
taste
in this story.
Fine cheese.
Does the rabbit make the cheese?
Where did you
Where's
get
the rabbit get the
this?
milk?
Said the tiger. Oh, there's lots of it at the bottom of the river. If you tie a rock to your body, it will help you sink. There is much more down there than I alone can carry. More cheese, said the tiger.
Yeah, the rabbit's gonna get this
I
dude to
must
drown
have more.
himself.
And he ran off to look for some rocks. Leave some for me, called the rabbit. But the tiger had already
Just
tied
wanted some
several
nice
large rocks to his
stories.
legs and jumped
What the
right
hell
into
did
the
I
water.
sign up for?
The tiger sank down, down, down into the river and looked around. But nowhere did he see any cheese. Soon he ran out of air and started to struggle to get to the surface. But the rocks kept him down. Oh, he thrashed and pulled. Poor tiger. He swallowed water and choked. Finally, the tiger grabbed onto a branch and he pulled himself to the surface. As he lay on the riverbank, he swore again and again, "Someday I'll eat that rabbit. Someday I'll eat that rabbit."
Maybe you should just give it up, bro.
A long time passed.
That rabbit's not. You're gonna die
and the
before that rabbit
stayed
goes in
clear
your
of the
belly.
tiger. But one day, the rabbit was talking with the fox. "The tiger is the smartest animal in the world," said the fox.
Fox
The
doesn't know
rabbit only
shit.
laughed. "The tiger is a fool," he said. "The tiger is so dumb, he would even let me ride him like a horse." "I don't believe that," said the fox. "I'll prove it to you," answered the rabbit.
Oh, maybe the rabbit's gonna get his
"I'll come by
comeuppance for
your
being
house
so cocky.
and make the tiger rear up just like a horse." Well, one Sunday, Fox was entertaining Tiger at his house. The two ate until they were full and satisfied. "What we need is some music," said the fox. The tiger agreed.
Since you provided this excellent
Right?
feast,
The
I'm going to get
consistency
the
of
best
like
guitar player in the area to come and play for
anthropomorphic
us.
versus just being
Well,
animals in the wild.
The best guitar player
Is
in
just,
the area just happened to be the rabbit.
there's no
The
consistency.
tiger, having forgotten about his promise to eat the rabbit, went to get him to play his guitar for them. Well, when the rabbit saw the tiger at his door,
And like
he
the
hid under
rabbit's got a
his bed.
tiny house.
Rabbit, rabbit, called the tiger.
Like he's
My friend
huge
the
compared
fox
to
is
the
having a
house.
feast, and we need the best guitar player in the area to play for us. The rabbit called back in a very weak voice. I cannot come out. I'm very sick. But you must come. I've given my word to the fox. Besides, I'm so full right now I couldn't eat you if I tried. Please, you must come. Well, the rabbit thought of a way to prove to the fox what a fool the tiger really was. He wrapped a handkerchief around his head and used a stick as a cane. He opened the door and moaned, I'm so sick. I can't walk. Come along, said the tiger. I'll carry you on my back. The rabbit tried to crawl onto the tiger's back, but he immediately fell off. Oh, this won't do, said the rabbit. I can't ride on your back unless I have a blanket. Certainly, said the tiger. Hurry, the fox is waiting. The rabbit went into his house and came out with a blanket. But no sooner had he climbed on than he fell off again. I'm afraid this won't do either, he said. I will need a small saddle. I think I have one someplace.
Why would you have a saddle?
All right, but hurry, said the tiger.
Wait, what are you
Put a
doing
bridle
with
on
a
the tiger,
saddle?
fixed on the saddle, put spurs on himself, and climbed onto the tiger with his guitar. I'm ready, he said at last. And with his hands on the reins, the rabbit and the tiger trotted off
Where
to
did
the
he get
fox's
reins?
house. When they arrived, the rabbit called to the fox, Come and see your friend. And he put his spurs into the tiger's side and made him rear like a horse. As the tiger ran off into the forest, the fox thought to himself, That tiger is a fool. The rabbit was right. Later that day, the tiger and the rabbit returned to the fox's house and rejoined the feast. The rabbit played his guitar beautifully. The tiger finally realized how smart the rabbit really was. And from that day, they have been good friends. Until, of course, when the tiger gets hungry again.
So the moral of the story is, if you've got an enemy, stab him in the side and you guys will be friends.
This was one of the stories from a book called The Tiger and the Rabbit and Other Tales, collected by Pura Belpré.
Or yeah,
You can find it in your
surround
school or
yourself
public
with stupid
library.
people so you can just like
Read the tale of Nangato, the cat, and La Hormiguita, the little ant.
make them
Look for
do
these
stupid
tales
shit.
from Puerto Rico and stories from all over the world. Y colorín colorado, este cuento se ha
Okay,
acabado.
that's
Share a story with a friend, so our tales will never end.
this disc was not as traumatic as the first one. I think the second one probably had the best overall messages. These were a little muddied, but they were okay. Disc 3, you're okay. Pedro seemed like a decent dude. That lady, I still don't remember her name, but it didn't see the title card at the beginning. And yeah, like I said, I'm predicting I'm not gonna do any like celebration like when I called the Filipino story, but definitely going to say that we're probably getting African stories in disc 4. I would be surprised if that is not where this is going. And I would be
The
disappointed
preceding program
because,
was
like,
funded in
I
part
think there's some
by a
cool,
grant from the Corporation for
especially
Public
with the
Broadcasting.
themes that they're going with, like the animal stories. Like, there's definitely some good animal-based tales to tell. Alright, so 59.35. Alright, I'm gonna toss this when this is done. I'm gonna toss the BRB up. I gotta run the bathroom really quick, so it's not gonna be 2 minutes. It'll be like closer to 5 minutes, but we'll be back with our final 16 Tales compilation in just a moment. So I'll see you soon.